and public service. Today we are having our speaker CA Alok Sethi ji. Brief about him is he is result-oriented professional, having very rich experience in corporate training, professional, possessing exceptional team building skills for increasing a company's productivity by imparting new skills and upskilling employees and students. Alok ji regularly conducting various seminars, delivering lectures, webinars, and workshops on soft skills and advanced Excel training to update employees and students. His training also helps upskilling the employees to make them more efficient and effective. His areas of interest is mentoring, counseling, brainstorming. So we welcome you, sir, to this entrepreneurship and members in public service. Let me give you a brief about this committee, sir. This committee is basically to have a live connect between the ICI and members in entrepreneurs and in public service, sir. So members who want to build their career as entrepreneur and go for the this public service, this committee helps them by providing training programs and many more things, sir. So this dashboard is a very important topic for all. It helps in set up the actionable goals in a dashboard format, which automate tedious tasks into analyzing the data faster, reduce human errors, and automate tedious tasks so that the actionable goals can be set up and regular monitoring can be done, sir. So with this brief intro, I would like to invite CA Alok Sethi ji to kindly start the session, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ICI and the Entrepreneurship Development Committee for having me on to deliberate on the important topic of dashboard. So I welcome all the participants, and once again I thank Chairman sir in his absentia and the committee members for having me. Before I start with the topic, let me just tell you about something about dashboards and what exactly is a dashboard. So when we have heard the word of dashboard, what comes to your mind? Okay, I would like this to be an interactive session so the audience can interact in the chat box. You can answer to my queries, because once you ask questions and you answer queries, it is the best way to learn this way, right? So when you hear the word dashboard, what comes to your mind? What is the first word that comes to your mind when you hear the word dashboard? Okay, and where have you exactly seen a dashboard? Okay, maybe not related to Excel or advanced Excel or any other software, but in a personal life, have we ever come across this word dashboard, and where exactly we have seen a dashboard? Motor car, yes. So Samir has given the right answer, car, yes, right. So yes, I want people to connect with me and keep answering in the chat box. In the question answer section, you can write your answers, and people have replied car. So in the car, we have seen a dashboard, right? And why? What does a dashboard covers? It has a many option. It has many things. Okay. So when we talk about a dashboard of a car, it allows you to have a control of everything. Okay. The control of the accelerator, brake, and clutch is there. Then you have all the speedometers and the petrol tank options. Okay. You get all the critical information, right, as pictorial representation of data, right? So dashboard is something which is the pictorial representation of data. But why do we need a pictorial representation of data? Income tax also has a dashboard. When you open a GST website, it does also have a dashboard. Even the ICI website has a dashboard. It has member section, it has student section, it has services section. So all these sections are there displayed on a one page, so that you can navigate to the required section of your area of interest or your requirement, and accordingly you can get the information from there, right? Similarly, in today's world, we are dealing with a lot of data, and a lot of important data is there, and we want to find out, we want to take some meaningful decisions based on that data, right? So when we present the data in a form of a table in Excel, uh, can you take decisions from there, or is it better to have a pictorial representation where we are presenting the data in the form of charts and graphs? What do you say? Excel table will represent the data in a pictorial form better, or a pictorial presentation is better? You can write down tables or pictorial. Charts are better, right? So now I'll be sharing my screen, and I will be sharing the file also that I'm going to use, because it is going to be a hands-on experience. So you should have joined using your laptop. If you are using your mobile also, then not an issue, but I would recommend that everyone should open Excel in their laptops, and I'm sharing the file which I'm going to use for today's deliberation, and we are going to work together so that you also learn how to create a dashboard. It is not possible to explain everything in just in a span of 2 hours, but definitely I will try my best so that you get a crux of how to create a dashboard. And definitely we'll start from the very beginning, from the very basics of Excel, because if you know Excel well, then only you can create dashboards. So Excel, knowledge of Excel is a prerequisite for having this, having done creating this dashboard. So I've shared the file in the chat box. You can download it, and I'm sharing my screen now, and you will be able to see the same file which we are going to use for today's deliberation. In between, if you have any queries, you can keep putting your queries in the chat box. I will take it as and when I feel appropriate. Most of the things I will cover in my session, so you will not have any queries. Uh, I have the opportunity to take the session. 2 or 3 sessions I've already taken with the ICI under the chairmanship of Advika sir, and fortunate enough to do it again for this committee. So now I am sharing my screen, and you would be able to see our data. Can you all see my screen? Is my screen visible to all? Is the screen visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So Q&A section, I think, is live. Chat box might be disabled, but the Q&A section is live. You can answer there. Okay. Can we have the chat box open so that people can interact if it is possible? Okay, so this is the data. See, I have taken a very simple data set because I want you to understand what is the basics of dashboard, and definitely we're going to improve the level over a period of time. Okay, so this is the file which I've shared with you all. It has two sheets. One is data, and the other one is about. About is about me, and how I've created this dashboard. What are the different options that are there? Okay, so you will see some buttons over here: dashboard, product, salesman, and about. But they are not functional. The links are not there because I want you to create the dashboard along with me. I have not shared the final file. I've shared the data file. So when we see the data, you will see that it is a sales data of a IT company which is selling some product, IT products. Okay, some accessories, some computers, monitor, printer, speaker, like that. And we have serial number, the date, which is arranged as per the month. So you have January, February of last year, 2021. We have salesman, you have region, you have item, you have quantity, you have price, and finally you have the sales amount. That is the quantity into price. Okay. Now, if I present the data to you like this, are you able to create to get any meaningful information from this data? Can we derive any meaningful information from this data? If I ask you, can you derive any meaningful information from this data? What will be your answer? Yes or no?
No, sir.
No, sir. We cannot derive any meaningful information. If I ask you what is the total sales, if I ask you what is the total sales as per the region, what is the total, what are the top 5 selling, most selling items, what are the least selling items, who is the best salesman, who are the top 5 salesmen for the company, which month we have got the highest sale, which month we have got the lowest sale. Can we answer all these questions by looking at this data, by having this data in front of us? The answer is no, we cannot. So what is the way out? The way out is that if I create a dashboard which will allow me to have a summary of the data. So dashboard is nothing but a pictorial representation of a data in a summary form so that you can take decisions, right? So I'm sharing one more file in on the screen now, which will just display a dashboard which I've already created, and that will help you in understanding what a dashboard looks like. Okay, so before we proceed further, I would like to know how many of you are attending or are learning the dashboard for the first time. Okay, I have shared the file. Should I share it again? If you're learning the dashboard for the first time, you can raise your hands. I can see some hand raises. You can just, yeah. So the number is increasing. I can see the count is increasing. Okay, great. So very good. At least people are eager to learn dashboard. Even if you have already worked on dashboard today, you will get something new or something different. Okay. So I can see the number is on the rise. People are attending this for the first time, and this is the need of the hour. Okay. So I'm sharing the screen again. And now what you will see on the screen is the dashboard. Can you see the dashboard on the screen? Is the dashboard visible to you all? Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. So since people are asking for the file, I will share the file one more time because maybe people have joined later point of time. So I'm sharing the file again, which I shared with you all in the chat box. You can download it and keep it ready for use so that we can work together on the file. And I will show you how to create this dashboard, and definitely you will be able to work on it. Okay. Does it seems difficult to create a dashboard or is it easy? Does it look difficult to you or it seems easy? D or E, difficult or easy? Okay, I've shared the file again in the chat box. You can download it, those who have not downloaded. Okay. Okay. Yes. So I hope the screen is visible to all and you can see the dashboard. Okay, now what is the difference between a dashboard and a dynamic dashboard? And what is a dashboard basically? So in this dashboard, you are able to see the total sales figure and the total sales, like the number of items that are sold, total sales in, we can say, in quantity, and total sales in amount. So it is in amount and it is in quantity. So what is the total quantity or the total count of sales? We can say total count of sales. Okay. So how many times the items have been sold, different count is there. You can see that in the dashboard. Okay. Apart from that, what all you can see is some graphs and charts also there along with. Okay. So this is a pictorial representation of the data. You can, by looking at the chart, I will just zoom in a little bit so that you can see it properly. And I will just minimize my other menus. So you can just see the screen. Yeah. Okay. Great. I've shared the files in the chat box. Recently I've shared. Okay. If you want, I will share one more time. I've shared again. Okay. Now, when we talk about a dashboard, dashboard is a pictorial representation of data in which you can see the dimension, the data from different dimensions or different parameters. So we can see that the total sale amount is there, total count of sales is there, sales by month is there, and you can see that the graph is there. So you can see the movement of sales, whether sales is increasing on a month-on basis or it is decreasing, and how where there is the highest dip and where is the highest sales. Then we have the sale of product. Different products are there, and what product is contributing to what percent of sale, which is the highest selling product. If I ask you this question, can you now answer this question? What is the highest selling product? Which is the highest selling product from this chart? Can you just see the chart and give me the answer? Which is the highest selling product? Not able to view. Printer. Yeah, printer. So everyone is correct. Printer is the highest selling product. And which product is the lowest selling product? Which product is the lowest selling product? Which product is the lowest selling product? Chats are disabled. Okay. Can someone enable the chat? Oh, I am sharing the file again. I think I shared it with the panelist. I am just sharing the file again. And one more time, I will share it. Just allow me 1 minute. Okay. I hope the file is visible now. You can see the file in the chat box now. Yeah. And now I have enabled the chat box also. You can chat, you can write your, yes. The chat box is enabled now. Fine. Great. Okay. So now you can use the chat box to answer my queries, and that will make the session more interesting. And that is why my way of taking the session. Okay, yeah, keyboard is the file. Okay, I'm sharing the file again. I've shared the file. It is showing that file is sent successfully. You will see it on the top. If you, yeah, we got the file. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, so we have got the sale of product. Now, if you talk about the region, which is the highest selling region? Which region has the highest sale? Can you answer in the chat box, please? Which region has the highest sale? East. East is the region which has the highest sale. What region has the lowest sale? Now the lowest. Which region has the lowest sale? North. West. Right. So highest is east, lowest is north. Okay, fine. So this is what is the benefit? This is exactly the benefit of having a dashboard where you can see the information at one place as compared to this raw data. So this was the data which was shared to you, and this is the data which is used to create a dashboard. So when you look at the data, and if I ask you the same questions, you will not be able to answer these questions, right? Because there is no calculation, there are no nothing, no summaries there, no charts are there. Okay, so it becomes difficult to answer the question, and the management is not wanting the data. They want to see the numbers, they want to see the summary. Okay, so that is one benefit of creating the dashboard. Okay, now what is a dynamic dashboard that I was talking about? So what, can you answer, anyone, what is a dynamic dashboard? Okay, what do you mean by the word dynamic? So dashboard, see, this will work in 2013 and the latest versions. It will not work in 2003 or 7. Okay, so you should use 2013 or higher version that I've mentioned in the about file also. Yes, so people have answered in the chat box that updated on real-time basis, changes as per changes in input. Very good. Based on the change in input. So if you see the BSC website or the NSC website, it is a dynamic website. If you see the Indian Railways website, is a dynamic website. Okay, if you see the COVID website, covid.gov.in, it's a dynamic website because it changes as per the changes in the data. Similarly, when we create a dynamic dashboard, that will change as per the requirement. So you can see that the dashboard is divided into two parts. One is analytics, where you can see the numbers. Okay, and the upper part has some filters. Okay, there are some filters. So when I click on east, you just notice that the amount of total sale has changed. Okay, the count of sales has changed. The graph of the sale by month has changed. The sale of product has changed. Okay, and we are getting the sale by region, only one bar is there. Okay, because we have selected east. Now I want to compare two regions, east and north, east and west together. So what I can do is I can just click over here and I can see both the regions. So now I'm getting two bars over here. So this is the sale of east and this is the sale of west. Okay, and these are the different products that I'm getting, right? Suppose I want to see a sale of particular month, I can click on the April month and I'll get to know what is the total sale in April, what is the total count of sale in April. Okay. If I select August, I'll get the sale of August. I want to see 2 month sales. What I can do is I can select 2 months also simultaneously. Okay, so this is how you can apply filters and you can filter the data. What about keyboard? If I click on keyboard, I will get the keyboard sales. If I click on mouse, I will get the mouse sales. If I click on scanner, I will get the scanner sale. Okay, so this is the dynamic dashboard. Dynamic dashboard allows you to change the output depending on the input. Clicking on the dashboard, it displays the message, the reference is not valid in the Excel you have shared. Yes, see, I have not shared the final file with you all. Okay, so you just have the data. You have to just see the screen for some time and be patient so that we will create this dashboard together. Okay, at the end of the session, I will share the file, the exact file also. Okay, so I don't want to serve you paka pakaya food. Okay, I have served you a raw material. We are going to cook it together, and that is how you're going to learn. Okay, at the end of this session I will do this share. So when you click on product, my sheet has all the sheets. Okay, my Excel has all the sheets. So when you click on product, you will see that the bars have changed, the parameters have changed now. So we have top 3 selling and top 3 bottom selling products. When you click on salesman, you get the information about the salesman performance, who is selling, who are the top 5 or 6 salesmen, who are the top 3 performing, top bottom performing salesmen, like that. Okay, and when you click on about, you get to know about the creator and what features I've used in this. Okay, so how this is possible? uh, if you see, is it Excel or it is not Excel? It is Excel only. Okay, it is not PowerPoint or something like that. We have done everything in Excel. I'm sharing the file one more time because I'm getting the request again from you all. So I've shared the file. I think it must have reached you in the chat box. Okay, now we are going to create this dashboard together. Okay, so I'm going to create this dashboard with you all together, and we are going to work on it together now. Okay, so are you all ready, guys? Are you all excited? Have you planned the format layout? How do we plan? Okay, I will take your queries. So how do you plan the layout of the dashboard? We'll talk about this. I will take every aspect. I will cover all the aspects of dashboard creation. Okay, so you can keep putting your queries, and definitely I will answer every query of yours. Okay, right. So just be patient for some time. In the next 20 to 30 minutes, you will be able to get the answer of most of the queries that you are raising here. Okay. And just wait for a minute and you will get the answer to all the queries. Okay. So now what you have to do is, uh, first question was, how do we decide the layout of the dashboard? How do we decide the layout of the dashboard? Okay. So, anyone who can answer this question, how do we decide? Can you have a pre-decided dashboard format, or depends on the requirement? So the answer is, the dashboard format depends on the requirement. Okay. Yes, the total, it depends on the requirement. I cannot have any predefined formula or a thumb rule to decide what our dashboard should look like. It depends on the requirement of you or your officer or your boss, and accordingly you will uh, you can find out the input. You can based on the requirement you will design the layout. But I will give you some broad parameters. Dashboard topic confused. Video is buffering. Okay. I think some net issue. I will close my video for the timing so that the stream is proper. Okay. And I think you are able to hear me properly. I think the audio is proper. Okay, great, great, good. Okay. So how do you decide the layout? See, we have to first analyze the data. First, you have to work on the data. So this is the data set, and you have to find out what are the fields that we have in the data set. Okay. So first thing is that you have to spend some time with the data. ठीक है, पहले डेटा को अच्छे से जान लेंगे, डेटा को पहचान लेंगे, उसके बाद हम डिसाइड करेंगे कि इस डेटा के साथ हम क्या क्या कर सकते हैं. ओके, सो व्हाट ऑल यू कैन डू विद द डेटा. you can find out only when you have studied the data properly. Okay, so what is first step in creation of dashboard? What is the first step in creation of dashboard? Can anyone answer me this question? What is the first step in creation of dashboard? Table, understanding the data. Yes, very good. Analysis of data. See, it is called as a data analysis tool. Data analysis. Okay, so data analysis has the word data, and data means raw data. Okay, from the raw data, we will have some information, and then we will be able to work on it. Okay, so what you will have to do is you will have to analyze the data first. You have to understand how the data looks like, and then we can work on the dashboard. Okay, so now we are going to analyze the data. So our data has serial number, date, salesman, region, item, quantity, price, amount. Now I'm going to show you some tricks of Excel. Okay, so some tricks of Excel that we will talk about first, and then we will start a journey of dashboard creation. Okay, so what I've done is I've copied the headings of the table, and I'm going to paste it over here. Okay, but how I'm going to paste it? I'm not going to paste it in the column. I want to paste it in the row so that I can find out which information I need and which information I do not need. Okay, so I can find out which information I need and which information I do not need. So how do we paste the data in a different format? Okay, so if I copy and paste Control C, Control V, it will come in the columns. I don't want it to come into column. I want it to come in the rows. Okay, so like this, I want the data to be spread. So anyone who knows how to do it, transpose. Yes, very good. So transpose the first function that we are going to learn today. And I believe in using shortcut keys, and that is the fastest way to use Excel. So Alt H A T. Okay, so first what you will do is you will select the data, and you will see Control C, and you can see the keys I'm pressing on the keyboard. So Alt H, you enter the home tab. In the home tab, we go to the paste option by pressing V, and the paste option we will say transpose by T. So I will just write down the command over here: Alt plus H plus V plus T. That is the command for pasting the data in a transpose manner. So you see that all the headings have come in the rows. So we have serial number, date, salesman, region, item, quantity, price, amount. Okay. Now the first step of data creation or dashboard creation is to analyze the data. Okay. So we are going to analyze the headings. Now serial number, is it relevant or not relevant? So I will create a column of relevant or not relevant. Okay, and here also I'm going to show you some advanced Excel trick. So I will say relevant and irrelevant. Yeah, I will say not relevant. Now I want to create a drop down where I get an option whether I want to select this as a relevant or relevant. I don't want to type it again and again. I want a drop down. Okay, so how do we create a drop down in Excel? Okay, so data validation. Yes, many people are a smart audience over here. So they know the basic things. Okay, so that is good. But yeah, so what I will do is I want to create a data validation tool over here. So I will go to data, and in the data you will get data validation. You will select data validation, and I want to create a list over here. Okay, so I will create a list, and the list will ask me for a source. So I will just zoom in a little bit so that you can see the screen properly. And now I think the data validation tool is available to you all. So in the data validation, you have to select list. When you select list, it will ask you the source. Now, what is the source? The source is two words: relevant and irrelevant. So I want to create a drop down. I will select the relevant and irrelevant in the list, and I will say okay. Okay, I will say okay. Now what happens here? You will see that the drop down is ready to use now. You can say relevant or not relevant. Okay. Did you find this trick interesting? Okay, is it interesting? Data validation? Yes. Yes. Very good. Okay. So now serial number is, will it serial number, does it going to help us in any way in the data analysis? No. So we will say serial number is irrelevant, not relevant. Date, yes, it is of course relevant because we can find out when what sale have been done. Salesman obviously is relevant. Region is also relevant. Item, quantity, price. Item means product. Item means the product. So in fact, the product is also relevant. We will select relevant over here. Now, what about the quantity, price, and amount? What about the quantity, price, amount? Are they relevant or not relevant? Tell me. Quantity, price, amount, are they relevant or not? Definitely they are relevant. Definitely they are relevant. What is the most relevant amount over here? Amount. That is the sales amount. Quantity and price is relevant, but price is not relevant because we are not going to work on the price as such. Okay. So I've identified the two parameters are not relevant. I'm going to highlight them with red fill. Okay. Because I'm not going to use them, and the others I'm going to use in my data analysis, in my dashboard creation. Okay. So I just highlighted them with red. Rest all others are relevant. I will highlight them with green. Okay. So I will select a green shade. So see, your life should always be colorful, and so the Excel. So Excel and life both should be colorful. Okay. Holi has just passed. So you all must have enjoyed the Holi with colors. Excel also we are playing some Holi over here now. Okay, so we have yellow, green, and red. Okay. Okay. So now what we are going to do is we are going to create a dashboard using these fields: date, salesman, region, product, quantity, and amount. Okay. Now you had asked me why price will not be relevant. See, price is not relevant because we are not going to analyze the price of the product. Okay, which is the highest selling product or lowest selling product. So that is why I have not considered price. You can take price also as one field if you want, but price will not make any much of a difference in the dashboard. Okay, so that is why I've ignored it. You can take it also. Okay. You want me to show how to create a drop down again? Okay, I will show you again how to create a drop down. Okay, so for creating a in creating a drop down, what you have to do is you have to go to data tab. Okay, what I will do is I will create a drop down with the region. So I will write down region, and there are four region: east, west, north, south. Okay, so I will create a list over here: east, west, north, and south. East, west, north, south. Now I want to drop down over here. So I don't want this list. I want a drop down. In the front of region, I should be able to select what region I want to see, and in the front of this region, okay, I'll put region. I want to see the sales of that particular region. So we are going one step forward. Okay, and then definitely in a minute or two we will be starting creation of dashboard also, but this is also important. Okay, so I have created a table over here called HBA. Okay, and now I'm going to create a drop down over here in the region. So how do you create a drop down? You go to data tab. In the data tab, you will go to data validation. In the data validation, you will select list. Allow any value की जगह पे आप list ले लेंगे. Okay, you will select list. In the list, it will ask for source. So what is the source of the list that you want to create? So this is the source. These are the source. East, west, north, south is the source from where I want to create a list, and you will say okay. Okay. So when I click on OK, I will see a drop down over here. So what is the benefit of having a drop down? So when you click on east, east will appear. When you click on west, west will appear, and north, north will appear. Okay. But it is possible only when you have a source data. So you can keep the source data in a different sheet and the main data in a different sheet. Okay. Now, what is the benefit? What I want from this is when I select the north sales should come over here. When I select west, west sales should come over here. When I select east, east sales should come over here. And when I select south, accordingly, the sales should appear. How do I do it? Anyone who can give me the answer for this? How do I do it? How do I get the sales by changing the region? Some ifs. VLOOKUP. See, XLOOKUP will not work here. Okay, so one more time I'm going to share the file because I just read the chat box and people have joined now. So again, I'm sharing the file for one more time so that you can download and use it. Okay, yeah. So I think how to make dynamic drop-down list. Okay, if we have more data, we can create a dynamic drop-down also, but that will take some time. Okay, so our purpose of dashboard will be defeated if I do that. Okay, uh, maybe on a later time you can ask me on a personal chat or after this session. Okay, so I've created a drop down, but I want to work on this drop down. I want the sales from this. So someone has already people, most of the people have answered it correctly that we will use sum if. Okay, तो हम क्या करेंगे, sum if का formula लगाएंगे. So I'm writing this formula over here. ठीक है, you just need to do see what I'm doing over here. Okay, so we are writing a formula of sum if. Sum if, what a sum if will do, sum if will take the total of the numbers based on some condition. So here the condition is the region. Okay, and it's asking for three criteria. One is the range, one is the criteria, and the third one is the sum range. So what does range means over here? Range means where you want to find out this criteria. So I want to find out the criteria in the region column. Okay, so I will select the region column and that will be my range. Okay, so I have selected this region column. Control shift down, when you do, it will move towards the last cell. Okay, you can see all the data is selected. Now the region we have selected as a range. Okay, the region we have selected as a range. And now I'm going to come back to the thing that is the criteria. Okay, so again I will select the region. Region is D2 to D366, comma. The criteria is this because it is dynamic. I can change the criteria. So I've selected, given a reference of the cell where I put the criteria, and now I will see the sum range. What will be the sum range? Can you give me the answer in the sum range? What will be the sum range? I'm using 2019. I'm using 2019 Excel. Okay. Yeah. Amount, correct. The sum range will be the amount. So I will select the sum range over here. Okay. And I will close the bracket. And now you will see the magic happening over here. Okay. Now see, we have got the sales of East region, which is 7,36,080. 736,080 is the sum sales of the East region. Now, if I change it to West, will it change? Let us see if it changes or not. So when I select West, it is showing me 0. It should not, basically. Wait. So let me freeze this range, F4, and freeze this one also. So there is some problem over here. Yeah, it is now fine. So we are getting the amount for South and East. Okay, but we are not getting the amount for West. Okay, West we are getting a 0. Let me identify where the problem is actually. So we have the West region also, and here also. So D2 to D366 is the area K11, and we want to find out the total from H. Yeah, now we are getting the answer. I think West we have got, and North also. North we are not getting. South we have got. So North. I think there is no North in the data. We have East, West, and yeah, there's some North also. Okay. Okay, we have the sales of North also. We should get some amount, but I don't know why it is not giving me the proper result. The formula is proper, everything is proper. We should get a result, but anyways, let us continue forward. Okay, so the idea was to explain you it is working. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Yeah, maybe some space or some error is there, but let us not waste time on that. Okay, let us just focus on creating a dashboard. This is, I wanted to show you how you can create dynamic things in Excel. Okay, now we are coming to dashboard. So if you see my dashboard, what it is basically showing us, it is showing the total amount of sales, the count of sales, the sales by month, the sales by product, and sales by region. Because we have identified in the data that these are the 5 parameters that I'm going to work on. So date, salesman, region, product, quantity, and amount. Okay. So these are the 5 or 6 parameters that I'm going to work on that I've identified already. So now, what is the first step to create a dashboard? Once we have analyzed the data, what is the next step in starting for the creation of dashboard? Tell me. Pivot table. Very good. The right answer is pivot table. Okay. So now what we have to do is okay. So the next step is to create a pivot table. So dashboard creation is nothing but a combination of pivot table. So all these charts that you see here, it is nothing but I've created pivot over here and I've just copied pasted. So I've created some pivot tables, some different pivot tables over is are created over here. We'll start from the very basics. Okay, so I will create the pivot table from the beginning and I will show you how we can create a dashboard. Okay, so you have got the idea of a dashboard. What a dashboard does is, and what are these? What are these? These are buttons basically. So dynamic dashboard means that we are when we are clicking on it, the sheets are already changing. Can anyone guess how I've done this? Can anyone guess how we have done this? How we can do this? What are these and how this can be done? Anyone? Any guesses? Anyone? Hyperlink, correct. Hyperlink and macro. Okay. So let me tell you, I've not used any macro over here. Okay, macro, although it is the right answer, but I have not used macro. I have not worked on the macro. Slicers obviously is there. These are called as slicers. So those who know how to create a pivot table, you're talking about slicers. Slicers are these. So these are slicers that makes our dashboard dynamic. You can see when I'm clicking on these, the data is changing, the charts are changing, right? When I'm clicking here, the sheets are changing. So this is a perfect example of dashboard where you don't have to toggle to different screen. You can just be on the one sheet and you can change or you can navigate to different sheets. Okay. So we are going to see how we have created it. So what I will do is I will create a new sheet. Okay. And the first and the foremost thing is to plan the layout of a dashboard. Okay. That was the first question, in fact, by a participant. And that is what I'm going to answer now. So I'm going to create a new dashboard and I will name this as the dynamic dashboard. You can start doing this with me, or you can just sit down and relax and enjoy and just concentrate, observe what I'm doing. Okay, because many different people are there. You might not be comfortable in doing hands-on. Those who are comfortable can do along with me, and those who are not, they can just see what I'm doing and you can follow it afterwards. Okay, so first thing that you have to do is you have to go to the view menu and you have to remove the checkbox from the grid line. So first thing is go to view menu. I will write down the steps also over here. The steps, number one steps. So it is number one step is to go to the view menu and remove grid lines. So that will give you a white screen. Okay, that will give you a white background where you can uh, see and work along things. Okay, and we will merge it also. So these are the actions to be taken. Action to be taken. So step number one is to remove the grid lock. So now you can see there is a blank screen. Second is to divide the screen into parts and include some background. Okay, so we will create some background. So create a background using shapes and divide the sheet into sections. Okay, so that is how I have created my dashboard over here. So I've used a background over here. So I will show you how I've done it. So you go to dynamic dashboard sheet. Okay, and you will go to insert menu. In the insert, you will get this option of shapes. Okay, many of you must have not done this previously, but this is the requirement for creating a dashboard and a good dashboard. We can create a dashboard without the layout also, but that doesn't make any sense rather. Okay, so I will create a dashboard like this. So this is a shape that I've used, and we have created a background over here. You can change the color, so you will get a format, and you can simply choose any color that you wish to have. Okay, so any color, blue look professional. So I have selected blue. We can select a dark blue color also. This is the background that we have created. Okay. And in this background, what you have to see is you have to imagine. So whenever someone gives you a blank sheet and asks you to draw scenery, okay, जो हमने बचपन में किया है कि drawing की क्लास हो रही है या फिर पेंटिंग कर रहे हैं, तो you have to become an artist now. Okay, so from a chartered accountant, you have to become a creative accountant now. Okay, so creative accountant के आपको creation करना है. You have to imagine a lot of things. Okay, where is the drawing tools? Okay, so drawing tool is there in the insert menu. In the insert, when you click on insert, a ribbon comes, and here you will see the shapes. You can see all these different shapes are there. Icons are there. Okay, I'm using 2019. So 2019 might have different functions which might not be there. So all these things are there. Suppose I want to use this icon. Okay, I can just click on it and I can say insert, and I will get this icon over here. So I can say this one, and now I can put a heading called as dashboard. Okay, so how do I insert any heading over here? So I can use a smart art. Okay, or maybe word art basically. So yeah, text box, and that text box, or not a text box but a word art, and that word art will help me in designing my title of the dashboard. Okay, so I will say dynamic sales dashboard, because we are working on our sales data. Dynamic sales dashboard. Okay, so this is how you can give a background and you can start designing it. Okay, so it is dynamic dashboard, sales dashboard. We have given a heading. And now you will create some sections over here. Okay, so we'll take a reference of the existing dashboard. So these 4 buttons are there, and you can see that this is one background. I can just move it. So this is one background, and these are 4 different buttons that I've created: dashboard, product, sales, because I wanted different sheets. You know, if you don't want different sheet, you can work on in a single dashboard also. And this is again a background. This is again a background. If I remove everything, if I delete all this, so I'll delete this, I delete this, you will see that this is nothing but it is these are all pivot tables or slicer. Okay, these are slicers, and these are images. These are all images over there. Okay, but it is not looking attractive, isn't it? So that is why we have to create a dashboard which looks attractive. Okay, and that is why I'm said that you have to be creative enough so that you can create that kind of visuals. Okay, which are attractive and which are appealing and which will serve our purpose also. Okay, so I will create one more round box over here. So I will use the shapes, and I am creating one more shape where I can actually put the figures and the information. So I've selected one more shape over here, and I will change the color so that we can differentiate. Okay, so maybe this doesn't look good. Okay, you can uh, take a specific color also, or you can use a different shade also. So we'll select something like this. Okay, now in this you have to decide what you want to see. So I want to see the total sales. So what I will do is, what first I will find name what I want basically. So in the insert tab, I'll get to word art. In the word art, I will select some command, some button, and I will just copy this twice and thrice so that it all the text options are there. I will first create a background image of what actually I want to have. Okay, so I am just showing you in this 1 hour, I will be able to show you only one page. That will be enough for you to understand, and then you can practice and maybe we can plan some more sessions like this, and in that session I can take this forward. Okay, how to use word art. Okay, so in the insert menu you will get this option of word art. If you're not getting the word art, then you can simply use the insert text. Okay, so this text box is always there. You can select the text box, but it will not give you formatting option. It's look like this. Word art gives you a good formatting option, so that is why I prefer using word art. Okay, the first thing that we want is the total sales. So I will write down total sales over here. Next thing I want is total sales by region. Sales by region. Then I want by sales by salesman. Sales by salesman. Then I want the bifurcation of sales by product. Sales by product. And what else is remaining now? So I can again go back to my data and take a reference over there. We have selected salesman region product. We have not selected sales by date. Okay, so in this I will say sales by month. Okay, so I will say sales by month. So basically these are the 5 parameters that I want to analyze the sales on. These are the 5 parameters I want to analyze the sales on. So we have total sales, we have sales by product, we have sales by region, we have sales by month, we have sales by salesman. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to work on the numbers for these. We are going to work on the numbers. Okay, so how do you get the numbers? So for getting the numbers, we have to create pivot table. Okay, so this layout is not a proper layout, but I have just given you an idea. What you can do is you can just arrange this sales over here and all these over here. Okay, so we will get the total sales number over here. Okay, so we will insert one more text box over here and we will keep it blank. And then I will tell you the way to insert the sales number over here. So I'm inserting one more layout over here and I want the sales figure to appear over here. Total sales should appear over here. Okay, so I'm keeping it blank. Okay, so this is a blank box is there. Okay, so we will use the sum formula over here. Sum of sales we want. Okay, similarly, sales by product, I want to see all the products together. I want to see the regions together. I want to see the sales month together and sales by salesman. These are the parameters that we are going to use. How we are going to use that I'm going to show you. So as to save time, I will use this dashboard and I will make you understand the working of this dashboard. Okay. So first thing is how to create a pivot table. Okay. So those who don't know how to create a pivot table, I'm starting with pivot table first. So for creating a pivot table, the first step is to select the entire data. What is the shortcut key to select the entire data? Anyone? What is the shortcut key to select the entire data? I have a habit of asking questions so as to see that the audience are alive or not. Yeah, very good. Control A is a shortcut key. Very good. Control A is a shortcut key. So I have used Control A. So when you use Control A, the data gets selected. Okay. And now Alt N, we go to insert tab. Whenever you want to insert anything in Excel, you always find the buttons, the functions in the insert tab. So we have different tabs like home, insert, data, and all. So every tab has different functions and all functions have different utility. So we will go to insert. In the insert, you will see the pivot table on the leftmost corner of the table. We have these options: tables, in illustrations, add-ins, charts, tools, sparklines and filters, links, and text, symbols, and draw IO. This is a add-in that I've added, which helps in visualization and tools and all. Okay, so these are the different options that is available. So in the insert, the first option is pivot table. And what is the meaning of the word pivot? Anyone? What is the meaning of the word pivot? Pivot is basically a central point or focal point. So pivot helps you in summarizing the data. Okay, so when you select the pivot table, a window open which is called as a dialog box, because you can do a dialog with this. So it is asking you to select a table or range. So we have selected a table or a range, and the table is from the data A1 to A367. That is the entire data which is there. Now it is asking you choose where you want to keep the pivot table. So you want to place it in the new sheet or an existing sheet. So always you should select a new sheet because the sheet is already having the data. So we will select a new sheet and we'll say okay. Sorry, I will select the data again. I'll go to insert in the pivot table and you will select new sheet and okay. Insert and new sheet. Now, when you select this pivot and new sheet, it will open a new blank worksheet. Okay. And you will see two layout over here on the left, and this is movable. This part is movable. Okay. And this is called as the layout of pivot. This is called as the layout of pivot, which where you can see this to build report, choose fields from the pivot table field list pivot one. So this is the default name of pivot, and this is the pivot table field list. I will just drag it, make it bigger. Okay. And now just concentrate here for some time. I'm going to share some basic things with you all, and that is how we will create a pivot. Okay. So basically, what is pivot? A pivot is a summary of the information that you have selected from the data file. So in the data, we have serial number, date, salesman, region, item, quantity, price, amount. This were already there in my data. These are the columns heading which we have done. So it is coming as a list, field list. There's something extra which is month. So month is coming automatically from the date. So when you create a pivot, it automatically gives the option as month. Now there are four pillars on which the pivot table is created. There are four sections basically. One is filter, then you have column, rows, and values. I call it FCRV. FCRV. So rows and columns, filters and values. So value has a sigma. Okay, so it's a sigma sign, it's a summation sign or a sum sign. So in the value column or section, only the numbers can come, correct? So what we have to do is we have to select from the field list what would be placed where. कौन सी चीज कहाँ जाएगी ये आपको decide करना है, right? And how do you decide that? That is the only important thing in pivot table, and that's the most important thing I would say. How to decide what to put where? कौन सी चीज आपको कहाँ रखनी है और कैसे रखनी है, उससे आपका पिवट तैयार होगा, ठीक है? So first thing what I'm doing is I'm putting the amount in the value. So as you put the amount in value, it is showing you sum of amount. Okay. And here on the left hand side panel, you will see something. What is this figure? Can anyone tell me what is this figure? 17,82,570. What is this figure? In the chat box, please. Total sales. Yes, Palak is right. Total sales. Yes, everyone. So you see that pivot is an important tool which helps you in summarizing the data. So I will call it as pivot table for dashboard, DB, I will say pivot table for dashboard. This total sales. Okay, this total sales. Why? Because the amount had the individual sales, and when we put the amount in the value column, it is giving me the total sales. Now suppose this is this is pivot number one. So I will insert one more column over here. I will insert one more column over here and I will write down what it is. So it is my total sales. It is my total sales. First, we are creating the pivot and then we will use the amount from the pivot to put it in the dashboard. Okay. So next 15-20 minutes, we will create all the pivot table and then we will simply drag and drop and complete our dashboard. Okay. The next tool that I want is, so what I wanted in my dynamic dashboard, total sales I've got. Okay. So can I give a reference over here of the total sales figure? How do I give a reference of a cell from a previous sheet? I have to just press equal to, and from the pivot table for DB, I can just select this figure. Okay. So what I will do is I will just copy this over here, get pivot table data. Okay. Now I will give a reference of this figure over here. So is equal to, and I want to insert a value from this cell. So I will select this one. Not allowing me. Why it is not allowing me? Because I am working in a cell. Okay. So I am working in a box. See, I am not in a cell. I am not in a cell. Okay. So I cannot give a reference over here because it is a box. In the box, I can only type. Okay. So how do I have got this amount over here? And this is a dynamic amount. It's changing automatically. It's changing automatically. Okay. So how I have got this amount? See, it is a reference. It is a reference is equal to pivot table and it's a reference. Okay. How I could do this? Because in the amount, these are all background. Okay. These are all background. If I remove everything, you'll see this is again a box. This is again a box. But in this box, I have inserted the reference. Okay. So it is a rectangular box. Okay. Which and in this I have inserted the point. Okay. So what I have to do is in the dynamic dashboard also, I will have to use the shapes again. Okay. So I will insert a shape like this, and I will insert a shape like this. And in this shape, I will say edit text. Okay. Edit text. And now I will be able to give a reference for this cell. Just a minute. Okay, so we have got this amount over here. Okay, you can increase the font size also if you want. Okay, so this is how we have got the first figure, and which you can see is dynamic. Okay, so it is a total sales, and how I got this, I have inserted a shape. Okay, and in that shape, I have put a reference of the cell. So you can put the reference over here also. This is the rounded rectangle shape. Okay. Okay, I will tell it again. I will repeat. Okay, how to put the reference? I will repeat this. Okay, fine. So what I have to do is, yes, I'm repeating again. So what I have to do is, you have to go to insert. In the insert, you will go to shapes. Okay, in the insert, you will go to shapes. In the shape, you can select any shape. Suppose I want to select this one, and I will insert a shape. This is one shape that I've inserted. Okay. Now I want to give a reference to any value from this shape. Okay. I want to give a reference to any value in this shape. So there are some options which are there, which is edit shape, edit points. Okay. Shape effects, text fill. Okay. Text outline, text effects, alternate text, selection pane, all these things, which are formatting. These are all related to formatting. But what I want is I want to give a reference to this. Okay. So what I can do is see this cell. Okay. This saying get pivot table data. This is the pivot. So when you go to this, it will always show this. So we have just copied. You can just simply copy and paste it over here. Okay. So this will paste as a number, but it will not be dynamic. Okay. It will not be dynamic. So never do this. You have to just copy the reference from here. So this is the reference that I'm going to copy. I'll show you again. So is equal to and this one. So this is the reference. Now what you can do is you can just copy this reference. Okay. And we will paste it over here in the dynamic dashboard. Suppose let us just paste it outside so that you understand what I'm doing. Okay. And how I'm giving a reference. So I'm in this cell and I say is equal to, I go to pivot table for dashboard and I'll select this cell. Okay. So it is giving me this figure over here. This is nothing but the total sales figure, okay, which I'm getting over here in the external cell. Okay. Now I want to bring this figure over here in this box. Okay. So what I can do is in this rectangle, I can just copy paste the reference. Wait, I think the you can see my screen. Is there any lag in the screen or the audio? Can anyone confirm in the chat box? No. Okay. So I think there is some problem with the participant end. Things are proper from my end. Okay. So now we have to put this figure over here. So you will double click on this and you can paste it over here. Okay. So when you paste this, you will see, yeah, you will see that we have pasted a reference over here, not the value. Okay. And how you can see the reference when you click over here, wait. Okay, so what we will do is we will copy the amount from here. Okay, that is what I have done previously also. It is not allowing me to put the reference directly over there in the dashboard. So what else you can do is you can just take the copy. You can copy this reference over here from here and you can paste it simply like this. So we will insert one more shape. Insert shape, or you can either go to the developer tab also, but that is not required. We can just simply insert a shape. And you can paste it over here. Okay, so this is how you can get the number also. Okay, and we can increase the size. Okay. Now, coming to the next part. Okay, coming to the next part. See, this is I will rearrange everything again over here. So it was our total amount of sales in analytics. These amount was their total amount. And then we have got this number. Okay, so this is the number. This number is a reference basically. If you want to go to this, you can see added points. You will get this as a reference. Okay, and this is basically, these are basically shapes only that I've inserted. These are all shapes, and this is a reference to the data table. So all these things is a reference. So this is the first pivot that we have created. Okay, you're not audible. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Okay, 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 fine. Okay, so now I'm creating the second pivot. Okay, so again, to create the pivot, what you have to do is you have to click over here. You will right click and you will see show pivot field. So again, the field option will appear. Now, what we want in the second option is we want the sales by product or sales by region. So I will create all the different pivot. Okay, so now what you have to decide is I have shown you that value, the amount we have to put in the value. So we have got one figure. Now I want some more information regarding these sales. I want the sales by salesman, sales by region. So what I will do is I will copy this pivot. Okay, copy this, paste it over here. This is pasted as amount. Or what you can do is you can just copy this one and paste it over here. Okay, and you can change, edit this. Okay, so instead of inserting the pivot again, rather what you'll have to do is you have to again go to insert menu and then pivot table, then select the data again, control A. Okay, and then this option will come. So this is a long process. Okay, we want to save time. We have to work in a such a fashion that we can save time. Now I'm selecting region and I'm putting in the row. Okay, so here, what options do I get over here? I get the option of having the data as per the row, and we can shift it towards the left. Okay, this is the second pivot, row label. So I have seen we have got the list of the region. Now I want the sales. So in the value, I will put the amount. So it will give me the summary of the sales by region. Reference is not working on the rounded rectangle. Okay. Edit points, you have to give reference. After edit points, you have to go. Okay. Yeah. So if the reference is not working properly, that you can go to edit points and then you can give the reference. Yes. So let me explain this again. So you need to go to edit points. In the edit point, you can give your references. Okay. So now suppose I remove this, I say equal to, and then if I select this figure, it will update. Equals to, and then you can select this reference. Okay, so that is how we have got this amount over here. Okay, so suppose now I want to see the sales by product. Okay, so what I will do is I want to see a chart, okay, of product, sales by product. So when I'm creating a pivot table, I'm getting the summary. Okay, I'm creating a summary of the sales by region. Okay, now this is coming in number format. Okay, the totals are coming, but I want to see a graph. Okay, so how do we insert a graph? So in function bar, you need references. Use formula bar. Okay. Yeah, people are okay. Let me just clarify this point because there is a confusion over here. So how do you put? So in this we wanted total sales, right? So in this shape, you go right click on it and you go to edit points. In the edit point, now you go to the formula bar, you say is equal to, and then you come to the pivot table and just select the data from here. Okay, it will allow you to put the reference now. Okay, so now the data has come. It is now aligned with the sheet. Okay, and when you are here on this data, you will see that it is showing the reference. So it is coming from pivot table for DV sheet and C4 cell. Okay, it is coming from here. Okay, I hope it is clear now how the references are coming. I hope it is clear. Okay, yeah, so we are moving ahead, and now I'm showing you sales by region. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this away from here and I'm putting it over here, sales by region. And now I'm going to show you how to create a chart of sales by region. Okay, now what are the different options available when you talk about charts? Okay, so there are 4 regions only. Okay, so when you select all these regions and you go to insert menu again, in the insert we went for creating a pivot table, you will get this option of pivot charts also. So in the chart area, there will be 2 chart. One is pivot chart, one is recommended chart. So Excel gives you recommendation as to what chart would look like for the data, would look good for the data. So you can go with their recommendation or you can have your own recommendation also. Okay. So this is a column chart. So they are suggesting that because there are 4 regions, you can use a column chart. If you want to see the share of each, you can use a pie chart also. Okay. But we will go with the column chart first. So I've selected a column chart. This is called a stack column chart, where you have all the bars at the same this thing percentage. Doesn't give any good information. So I will select this one and you can select OK. So along with the pivot, I have a pivot chart also now, because I want to present my data in a visual format. Now I have a chart. Now, as I told you that you need to be an artist to create a dashboard. So in this, what we will do is we will add some more things. Okay. So in this plus button, there are 2 options. One is the plus button and second one is a brush over brush like thing. In the brush thing, you can select some predefined format. So in this predefined format, they will give you different options where you will get different kind of charts which are good looking. Okay. So you can save time and select any one which you like the most. Okay. Which you find appealing. So I think this one is looking good. Okay. So we can select this one, right? And here also labels are coming, but if you want to shift these labels, you can just simply use your mouse and drag it on the top. So it will come over here. If you want to do it simultaneously for everyone, all the values, you can just go to data labels. These are called as data labels. And you can say data call out. So even this look good. Okay. So it is giving you you don't have to look down to see the region name. It is giving you the region name also and the sales also. Okay. Now what simply we have to do is we have to just copy this chart. We have to copy this chart and paste it in the dashboard sheet. Okay. Copy and paste. So this is the one chart that we have created. Sales by region. Okay. Now I don't want to see this button. So you can just remove it, the remove field. Okay, sorry. This will remove everything if you remove it. So this we have to keep, but yeah, you can, this is a filter button. Okay, so you can copy this chart and you can put it in the main sheet over here. So this chart is already there, right? I can remove this legend because I know it is total only. Okay, so this is the first chart. You can write down total sales. You can edit the heading over here, the title of the chart, total sales by region. Okay, so it is showing the total sales by region. Okay. And what is the next thing that we are doing? We wanted to do. Can you please repeat the chart? Okay. Shortcuts of inserting pivot table. Okay. Okay. So I will create one more chart for you, and you will be able to see how I've created a chart and how I've created the pivot table, the shortcut. We are working on the next pivot table because there is the paucity of time, and I don't want to rush with things. I want you to understand, but at the same time I want you to have an idea of how to create a dashboard. So I will repeat things on your request, but we will just move ahead with the data also. So I will repeat the things but with the different data sets. Okay. So after region we want the sales by product. So what I will do is I will just drag this button from here to your sales by product, and now I'm going to create a pivot of sales by product. Okay, so I go to this. I can remove this from here because I already have copied this in my dashboard. So I can remove it from here. Okay. Now the shortcut key to create a pivot, or the long cut key, the right way to create a pivot is to go to insert, then pivot table. But before you do this, I will tell you one more hack which you can use to save time. A very interesting hack which you can use in Excel to save time. And what is that? That is naming the data range. Okay. Uh, Naming the data range. So how do you name a data range? Anyone who knows how to name a range? How to name a range, or how to name a table, how to label a table? And what is the benefit of it? Anyone who know how to does that? Control T. No, Control T will create a table. Okay, Control T, tables can be named. Okay, fine. So I've created a table. People are suggesting Control T. I've done Control T. and now my data is into table. Earlier it was not. Earlier it was not. This yellow color is looking weird now. I will change it to some other color. I will put some, yeah, this one is looking good. Okay, yeah. So this is now the data is into a table, and select the data name, change the name in the cell. Okay, select the data and change the name in the name box. Okay, so people have suggested some things, but I will show you the proper way. This is not the proper way. Whatever you are suggesting is good, but yeah, I will show you one more way of doing it. Okay, there are different ways of doing things in Excel, but when you study it from a trainer's point of view, a trainer will always suggest you the right way of doing the things in the right manner. Okay, so Control A is the first step in creating a name range. Okay, then you go to formula tab. In the formula, there is a name manager. Okay, there is a name manager. You click on it, and now you can define a name. See, already some names are there because I've already given. So I will say new, and I will say pivot table. Pivot table. Why pivot table? Because every time I have to use the data, or you can say data table. Data table. Okay. And this is referring to this A1 to A637. And I'll say okay. Now this is how a name is defined. And people were not wrong when they were saying that you select the data and you can rename it from here also, but that was a shortcut key. I've shown you the proper way of doing it. Okay, so in the name box, you can rename the data table. Suppose I want to say DT, only DT. Okay, data table, shortcut DT. Okay, now what is the benefit of this? What is the benefit of this? Okay, so when you select the entire table, it will show you the name. Okay, so this is my table. Select the data, change the name in the cell. Okay, yeah, so we have named this as DT. I have selected this DT. Okay, it is data table only, it is not changing. Okay, it is data table. Now what is the benefit of this? I will tell you. So when you want to insert a new pivot table and you want to go the long way, the usually you will go to data table, pivot table, insert, and now it is asking you to select a range. So if you are in a different sheet, you will have to go to the main sheet again, data sheet again. Instead of that, you can just type the name of the table, data table. Okay, and you can say okay, and you can see that the pivot is created. Can you see this? I hope you all have understood this, how to create a pivot table using a name range. We did not go to that sheet and select the data again. We have just given the name in the area where it is asking for. I hope everyone is comfortable till here. Can we have a yes in the chat box? A validation? Okay. Repeat. Okay. I know. Okay. So what I will do is yes. Do you want me to repeat or shall we continue? Shall we continue? Please continue. Yeah, I'm continuing. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay. See, I think the recording will be made available to you. You can see the recording also because the time is a constraint. So I'm just moving forward. Okay. So now the next thing is how to create a pivot table using uh, product. So I will select the product or the item in the rows, and again the items in the row. So I will be here. Okay. And I will select the item in the row, and again the amount in the values. Okay, now no one asked me this question, so why aren't we putting the amount in the item in the column? Why only row? Why only row? Why not column? Okay, so what happens if we put these fields into column? See what happens. So when you put it into column, it will give you the same result, but it will give you horizontally. So when you put the item or any other information, suppose in the column, it will give you like this. If you put in rows, it will give you like this. Suppose I want to analyze two parameters. what is the region-wise sales of different product? What is the region-wise sale of different product? So you want region also, you want product also. Product we have put in the rows. Now region we can put in the column. And do you see what happens in the pivot? Can you see what is happening in the pivot? What is happening in the pivot? We are getting the answer as per two variables now. Maybe better for, yes, it is better for better presentation. Correct. Because see the management or you as an entrepreneur, many of people are practicing also. So this dashboard you can use for your own practice also. You can find out like what are the clients, what are the areas that you're working on, what is the fees that you're collecting, what is the outstanding amount. All these things can be done in a dashboard kind of visual presentation. So I've selected two parameters now, region wise sales of the product. Okay, and we can play with some data also. Do you want to see how we can play with the data? Okay, so now I will show you some more tricks on how to play with the data, because dashboard is yeah, I will share the final file also. Don't worry about that. I will share the final file. So after the end of the lecture, but just concentrate on learning as of now. Okay, you will get the all the inputs on me. I don't want to keep anything with me. I'm here to disseminate the information, but concentrate on learning. Because once I share the file, you will not be able to understand it. If you don't understand, pay attention now. Okay. So these two parameters I've taken. One is the product, one is the region. Okay. Now suppose I swap them. Okay. I put region in the row and product in the column. What will happen? So I'm dragging the region and putting in the row, and I'm dragging the item and putting it in the column. So even it look more presentable. So now we have the region wise products, region wise product sales. Okay. So again, it is a matter of your requirement, how you want to see the data and what is the requirement and how it is looking better. If the earlier presentation was making sense to you, you can revert to the earlier presentation also. So item we can give here and region. Now suppose the management wants to find out what is the percentage of revenue coming from the different product from region. Percentage of revenue, you are seeing the answers as amount sale. How do I convert into percentage? Because when you are convert into percentage, it looks good, better. So what you will do is you will right click over here and you will say, you will go to value field settings. Okay, or you can say summarize value by or show value as percentage of column or row. Now, now this is a funny part. There's a fun element over here. Let me take your test. Okay, so everyone be attentive. Now I'm going to ask you a basic question. I want to find out what is the percentage contribution of the different product based on different region. Okay, so ईस्ट में कीबोर्ड का कितना परसेंट सेल है, नॉर्थ में कितना है, साउथ में कितना है, वेस्ट में कितना है. ठीक है. So tell me, help me that when I select this format and I right click on this and I say, I go to value field set, show values as, it is giving me all these options. Okay, it is giving me all these options. Show values as is giving me percentage of grand total, percentage of column total, row total. So what do I select? Column total or row total? Answer in the chat box. What do I select? What I want is I want to find out the percentage of sale product wise and region wise. What do I select? Percentage of column or row or grand total? I want the answer in the chat box. Come on. Row total. Okay, column total. So every time I do a session, it happens that some people say it is row, some people say it is column. Okay. So let me clarify what is the difference between a row and a column. Although we are using Excel from so much, such a long time, but still people get confused when it comes to row and column. ठीक है? तो row और column की बात आती है तो कई बार confusion हो जाता है. Let me clear it out. See,